Hello there and welcome to the Bearded Peacock. It's my channel where we talk all things Leeds United. I'm of course George. Welcome along to the channel, everybody. It's a preview today. Seems a long time, doesn't it, since Leeds United last played. 16 days in fact since it is from when we kick off at Selhurst Park on Monday evening to the Watford game. Yeah, it seems a long time ago, doesn't it? And of course Burnley and Everton can both make up further ground on Leeds United over the weekend, so let's hope they don't, but the opportunity is there. Both tricky looking games for them, in particular obviously Everton going to Merseyside, Liverpool rivals Liverpool on Sunday, so let's hope for a red win there. Anyway, yeah, it's a preview. We play Crystal Palace on Monday evening. I'm going to look straight into the team news for Leeds United and what Jesse Marsch has said. Basically, Adam Forshaw is the only new injury in the camp, so he won't play. But other than that, it's just as you were. He spoke about Bamford and how Bamford might be available for the last couple of games of the season. The other long-term injuries, obviously Roberts. There's a few of them, isn't there, that are out. He didn't speak of Firpo, so I've seen pictures of Firpo, training and stuff. Maybe he's not quite there yet, but he's certainly probably knocking on the door if he's back in training of some sort. So Adam Forshaw, the only new absentee, should I say. And for me, I'll put it on the screen there what my predicted lineup will be. It'll just mean that Phillips will come back, straight in from the start. Marsch has said about Phillips coming in from the start. He says he's fully ready, he's fully fit now to come in and play. He will play on Monday and he'll start on Monday. And for me, excellent news, because we miss him. We missed him, and we haven't seen him, I don't think, from the start since he was injured in that Brentford game in December. So we've waited a long time for Phillips in. No doubt that Phillips gives us that, obviously, a lot more control in that in the midfield area, which is obviously a problem for Leeds United. We still look pretty lightweight, but Phillips in there gives us that little bit more control in there, and hopefully he does that on Monday. He will come in. And I think obviously Koch will be the one that drops out. Phillips and Click in the middle there. Obviously they've been playing golf together, haven't they? Was it in Portugal they were playing in together? Solidifies that partnership again, although they know each other inside and out, I'm pretty sure at this point. The wide men, Harrison and Rafinha, the two up front, Rodrigo and James, although it could easily drop into a 4-2-3-1 system as well. Obviously the back four I think will be the same. Meslier in goal, Dallas, Cooper, Llorente and Ayling form the back five, if you like. And I think that'll be that. And Jesse Marsch, of course, he had comments to say about his counterpart Patrick Viera, who of course have come up against each other in America. Some fiery meetings apparently they had, but a lot of respect from Jesse Marsch to Patrick Viera, and the other way around as well. Obviously they both want to win the games. It's rivals. Obviously Viera at New York City, our man Jesse was at RB, obviously Red Bull New York, so it's a big rivalry, and they had some hot words to say over each other, in those games. I think afterwards it's very much respectful. Jesse Marsch, his comments are on the screen now of what he had to say about Viera. Lots of respect for him. He said how his excitement, not just him, but the whole league were excited to have a person such of the stature of Patrick Viera come into the MLS. But he said because of the rivalry and him going to New York City, he had to hate him. But he said he's hard to hate. Lots of respect. He spoke highly of his managerial way, of his tactics and everything like that. He also mentioned Gerard Houllier, which was an interesting point, really. Said Houllier was often a man to kind of be there to break up any kind of arguments they would have with each other. I'm not sure. Anybody let me know in the comments what Gerard Houllier, what his role was in New York at any of those teams. I didn't realise that. Or maybe he was the director of football or something like that at Red Bull, possibly. But anyway, let me know in the comments. But he did speak of Gerard Houllier, and he was a figure, he said, that brought the two of them together after their kind of disagreements in game, basically. I think after the game's finished, it all ends, and they're sort of respectful of each other. We'll have a look at Viera's comments on Jesse Marsch then, and he, like Jesse, spoke of respect between the two. He said obviously the two of them were in New York together, and there was, like I said, a bit of a heated meetings and heated games between their two teams, but ultimately he said he has a lot of respect for him, for Jesse Marsch, and he is looking forward to seeing him on Monday evening. But looking into Palace then, as a bit of a prelude to looking at Crystal Palace. Palace, by a lot of people's rhetoric, they've had a really good season. I know they've been in the FA Cup semi-final, weren't they, last weekend, and road came to an end against Chelsea at Wembley. But yeah, ultimately they've had a decent season. I thought Viera was going to be the first one to get sacked, and I thought Palace would struggle. As it is, we're only 4 points behind them. A win here would take us just a point behind them. And yeah, I don't really see why Crystal Palace have had such a terrific season, if I'm honest. Bit hit and miss, bit kind of inconsistent. They're coming off the back of 3 losses in a row, obviously one being that FA Cup semi-final, the other 2 being on away games against Leicester City and Newcastle United. Obviously on Wednesday midweek, lost to Newcastle 1-0, and by all accounts they weren't great there. He switched around the formation for some reason in the last couple of games. I've put on a graphic there. He's used 3 formations this season, most notably the 4-3-3 formation, which I expect them to go back to in this game. But the last couple of games, whether it was because it was away or whatever, I don't know, but Viera had gone for the 4-2-3-1 formation. But I think 26 times he's used the 4-3-3. I think he'll use 4-3-3 for this one. I don't expect anything else from them. But for me, yeah, it's a bit of a puzzle, that really, why a lot of people think they're had such a great season. And I think I know why, because Patrick Viera is one of the Premier League sweethearts, isn't he? He's just recently come into the Hall of Fame, Premier League Hall of Fame. Bit like Gerrard, his Aston Villa team are absolutely tanking it at the moment, but yet they've had a great season. Crystal Palace very similar, only a point ahead of Villa really, and at the moment going in a little bit of an indifferent form. It's because Viera is in charge, and Viera is, like I said, one of the Premier League sweethearts, one of the iconic Premier League players. So the Premier League are going to push this storyline that he's having such a great season and what a great job he's done. He's not done a bad job, he's done a very good job, and he's stabilised it, got a lot of new players in there, new fresh-faced players, fresh team. But, ultimately they are sitting just 2 places ahead of us in 14th and 4 points better off at this point this season, and yet we've had such a bad season. Not in the press, just generally we've had a bad season. They've won the same as us, I think, as well, 8 games. So yeah, look, it's very, very similar. They do have players that can hurt you. I'll put my predicted lineup on the screen now. 4-3-3, like I said. I think Mateta will lead the line alongside Zaha and Michael Elise, who's played well. Only young is Elise, isn't he? Made that step up from Reading into the Premier League very well. But yeah, and Palace overall, there's no shade thrown. There's nothing like that of Viera at all. I think he's done a good job, and anybody in the comments, any Palace fans, want to let me know the last time that you had 3 England debutants in one season, in Conor Gallagher, Tariq Mitchell and of course Mark Guhay. Again, I remember in November I was struggling with how to say his name. In the end, he gave away that penalty, didn't he? Which we'll speak about in a few minutes. But yeah, let me know the last time you had 3 England debutants in a season, if you ever have. You know, it's very impressive what he's done really in that sense, and brought these players into, you know, into international football, as Viera's stewardship has shown that he can do that. But yeah, I just don't get on with this sort of storyline that they've had an absolutely amazing season. I think if you look at the FA Cup run, you know, it was quite favourable to them, really. So yeah, again, you know, for me, again, the teams that they played up against, I mean, you've got to beat them, but they were beatable, and Palace on the main were probably favourites for the majority of those ties, and it just fell nicely for them. But I'm not, you know, they're a good side. Gallagher's a good player, isn't he? Zaha, obviously, on his day can cause a lot of issues. But yeah, the lineup's still there. I think Kouyaté is a good player. Jeffrey Schlupp will play. I think if Milivojevic isn't yet ready for this game. I know he's just been out injured, coming back into training, but whether he's not, he might not quite make this game. I think if he does, he comes into the lineup for probably Schlupp is the man to give way, isn't he, in that three-man midfield. But yeah, look, they've got players that can hurt us. On the other side, like I said, Elise has had a very good season. Zaha, like I say, on his day can be as dangerous as anybody. Mateta is starting to get better, and of course, on the bench they have the likes of Christian Benteke and Osun Edouard as well, who can score goals as well on his day. So, and he started the game at St James's Park, didn't he, as a lone striker. But let's wait and see. For me, we win this game. I think. I know Selhurst Park, I've said about they've coming off 3 defeats in a row, but Selhurst Park is a difficult place to go. They've picked up more points at home than they have away this season. Palace, 22 points have accumulated at Selhurst Park to 15 points away from home. They are better at Selhurst, but we need the points as well, and I think the lads will be up for it. You know, a lot of people are forgetting that we're unbeaten in 4 here. Jesse Marsch has had a bit more time to get his ideas across even more. Phillips coming in is a massive boost. Can we go 5 unbeaten? I think we can. I think a point would be decent. I don't think a point would be bad at all. But all 3 would be great and really ease the pressure, because the pressure has built a little bit over those games that we haven't played. Burnley have played 3 times so far. Everton as well have played a few. So, the pressure is building on us. We need to alleviate that. And I think obviously a win would. I think a point would be decent as well, like I said. But, that it is what it is. I mean, Selhurst Park, we've very rarely visited Selhurst Park as a Premier League club. The 2 teams very rarely come up against each other in the Premier League, really, and our sort of record at Selhurst Park isn't very good. We seem to draw quite a lot, drew quite a few in the Championship with them. In fact, you'd have to go back to January 1998 since the last time we beat Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park in a Premier League game. I think Rod Wallace and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank scored in a 2-0 win. We've only played them though 4 times in the whole Premier League era at Selhurst Park. We've won 2, we've lost 2. Of course, the most recent loss came in November 2020, last season, of course, where we lost 4-1. The game just didn't go for us. It could have gone a lot different if Patrick Bamford's goal would have been given. Of course, it was chalked off from VAR, and we just capitulated after that and lost the game by 4-1. I think Eze got that free kick, didn't he? He had a good game that day, and we got battered. That was, of course, the start of last season. But the reverse fixture this season, of course, saw Leeds United pick up, I think it was only a second win of the season. Against Crystal Palace, clean sheet. Rafinha, of course, bagging that injury time penalty to win it 1-0 for Leeds. And that was the last time we met them. Of course, we've had a bit more joy at Ellen Road over Crystal Palace. Won 2-0 over them last season at Ellen Road. 1-0 in the reverse fixture this time round. Hopefully we can get some sort of point or points on the board in this game. It would be very much needed, and just like I said, alleviate that pressure that is building in a sense around Leeds United, although I think that we will be okay overall. I know we've got some tricky looking fixtures coming up right at this moment, but I think we'll be alright overall. Let me know what you think of this game and what your thoughts are on the recent sort of upturn, if you like, of the teams below us in Burnley and Everton. I'll be interested to hear everybody's views on that. But yeah, thank you very much for watching as always, and thank you for sticking with me over this video, because it's gone on for now 16 minutes or so. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Let's hope we get 3 points on Monday evening. I might be back with another one, before I give my thoughts on this game, but we'll wait and see how it goes. Thanks very much for watching. March on together. I'll see you on the next one.